It was a crisp Thursday morning in late February when I kissed my partner, Leo, goodbye. "I'll be back Sunday night," I said, hoisting my duffel bag over my shoulder. "This conference in Toronto is a big deal. Could mean a promotion." He smiled. That warm, familiar smile, the one I'd fallen for 8 years ago, and handed me a packed lunch for the road. "Don't work too hard, Mark. Call me when you land," he said. I nodded, gave him a quick hug, and headed out the door. The truth? There was no business trip, no conference, no Toronto. For weeks, something had been gnawing at me. Little things that didn't add up. Leo's phone buzzing late at night. His sudden weekend hikes that stretched past sunset. The faint whiff of cologne on his jacket. That wasn't mine. I tried to brush it off, chalk it up to paranoia, but the doubts grew louder, sharper, until I couldn't ignore them anymore. So I lied. I told him I'd be gone for 3 days, a perfect window to see what he'd do when he thought I wasn't watching. I didn't go far. I checked into a cheap motel 20 minutes from our apartment in downtown Vancouver, paid in cash, and kept my phone on airplane mode. The plan was simple: watch him. I rented a nondescript gray sedan, nothing like my black SUV he'd recognize, and parked it down the street from our building. That night at 7:32 p.m., a sleek black BMW pulled into our parking lot. A man stepped out, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a tailored coat. My stomach churned. I didn't know him, but the way he strode up to our front door like he owned the place told me everything. Leo opened the door before he even knocked, and they disappeared inside. I sat there gripping the steering wheel, my pulse hammering in my ears. Part of me wanted to storm in, fist swinging, but I needed proof, something undeniable. I waited. Hours ticked by. At 10:47 p.m., the lights in our bedroom flicked on, then off. I felt sick, but I stayed put. Around 1 a.m., the BMW finally pulled out. I followed it, keeping my distance, until it stopped at a luxury apartment in Yaletown. The man went inside, and I jotted down the address. 501 Alexander Street, Unit 302. The next day, I dug deeper. I called in a favor with an old college buddy, Mike, who works in security for a tech company. "I need a name for a guy at this address," I said, texting him the details. He didn't ask questions. God bless him. By noon, he had it. Ethan Caldwell, 34, some hotshot real estate developer with a reputation for flashy cars and flashier women. I Googled him. His smug face stared back at me from a glossy headshot on his company's website. I wanted to punch the screen. Friday night, I watched again. Same routine, BMW, Ethan, our place. This time, I crept closer, parking in the neighbor's space. They were out of town, and I used my phone to record through the living room window. There they were, laughing, clinking wine glasses, Leo's hand on his arm. My chest tightened. I zoomed in, catching every detail. The way he leaned into him, the way Ethan smirked like he won something. I'd had enough, but I didn't confront him yet. I wanted him to squirm, to feel the walls closing in. Saturday morning, I texted him from the motel. "Conference is great. How's your weekend?" He replied almost instantly. "Quiet, just chilling at home. Miss you." The lie stung, but I played along. "Miss you too. See you tomorrow." That night, I made my move. I knew Ethan would show up again. He was too cocky to skip a third night. At 8:15 p.m., right on schedule, the BMW rolled in. I gave them an hour to settle in, then drove back, parking my rental a block away. I grabbed my key, my phone with the footage, and a Bluetooth speaker I'd rigged up earlier. My hands shook, but I was past fear. Anger had taken over. I unlocked the front door, silently stepping into my own home like a stranger. The living room was empty, wine glasses half full on the coffee table. Muffled laughter drifted from upstairs. I plugged the speaker into my phone, cranked the volume, and hit play. The audio from last night's recording blared through the house, Leo's voice clear as day. God, Ethan, you're so much funnier than him. Then his, you deserve better than a guy who's always gone. The laughter upstairs stopped. Footsteps scrambled. I climbed the stairs, slow and deliberate, the speakers still blasting their damning words. When I reached the bedroom door, I kicked it open. There they were. Leo, wide-eyed, clutching a sheet to his chest, and Ethan, half-dressed, frozen mid-step like a deer in headlights. "Business trip's over," I said, my voice steady despite the fire in my gut. Leo stammered. "Mark, this isn't, but..." I cut him off, holding up my phone. "Save it. I've got video. 3 nights of it." Ethan lunged for his shirt, muttering something about misunderstandings, but I stepped in his path. "You're in my house, with my partner. Sit down." He didn't sit. He bolted past me, nearly tripping down the stairs. I let him go. Coward wasn't worth my time. Leo was sobbing now, apologies spilling out between gasps, but I just stared at him. The person I'd built a life with, now a stranger. "How long?" I asked. He choked out, 6 months. 6 months of lies, of me working late to pay our bills while he played house with Ethan. I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I just walked out, got in the rental, and drove back to the motel. The next morning, I called a lawyer. By Monday, I'd filed for divorce, sent him the footage, and moved my stuff into a new apartment. Leo tried calming, texting, begging for a chance to explain, but I blocked him. Ethan, I heard, skipped town. Word got around fast after I accidentally emailed the video to his office from an anonymous account. It's been a month now, March 3rd, 2025, as I write this from the cramped desk in my new apartment. A 1-bedroom rental with peeling paint and a view of a parking lot. A far cry from the house I'd poured my savings into. I'm still raw, still angry. The kind of anger that simmers under your skin and wakes you up at 3 a.m. with your fists clenched. But I'm free. Free from his lies, free from the suffocating weight of pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. I exposed him, laid his betrayal bare for both of us to see. And in a twisted way, I exposed myself to how blind I'd been, how much I'd ignored the late-night texts I dismissed as work, the way he'd started wearing cologne I hadn't bought him, the excuses that sounded thinner every time, but I swallowed anyway because I wanted to believe in us. Never again. I've spent these weeks rebuilding piece by jagged piece. The divorce papers are signed. The house is on the market. He can fight for his half if he wants, but I'm done caring. My friends dragged me out last weekend, forced a beer into my hand, and told me I dodged a bullet. Maybe they are right. I still see his face sometimes, not the sobbing mess I left in that bedroom, but the person I'd married laughing at my dumb jokes over cheap takeout in our first apartment. That stings worse than the betrayal. Knowing that version of him is gone. Maybe never existed. But I'm learning to let it go. I've started running again, pounding the pavement at dawn until my lungs burn, trying to sweat out the ghosts. Work's picking up too. Turns out that promotion I'd lied about might actually happen. No fake business trip required. He's called a few times, left voicemails I delete without listening. Mike says he's been asking around, trying to figure out where I'm living now. Good luck with that. I'm a ghost to him. Untouchable.